Twister. That's right, folks. Let's talk about a classic 90s film that a lot of you might know if you've ever visited Universal Studios Park, whatever one. That's how I remember this one. My context for Twister, the movie, is going to the park when I was very young, maybe 10 to 12, and experiencing like the show, or because it wasn't a ride, right? It was more like you stand on this place and it reenacts like a scene from Twister or something. And I've seen the movie once before, the like viewing it for this. It's never a movie I went back to because I was like, oh, finally, I gotta talk about Twister. I love Twister. It was never that for me. But this movie's getting a sequel this year. July is going to see the release of Twisters, which is just Twister with a dollar sign as an S at the very end, because we're going to be printing money. So it's the perfect time to come back and watch Twister. And I'll admit, I kind of loved it. I did kind of love it. This movie kind of worked for me on every conceivable level. Will I sit here and tell you it's perfect? Of course not. There are some dated effects to the event. That never bothers me. Dated effects do not upset me in any capacity, because I get that. I really liked the characters. I loved the world we built. Like, it starts off so strong. To me, the most problematic areas of the film are kind of like more towards the end, where I'm like, you could have probably cut out one of the tornadoes that we're chasing here. Maybe make it a little tighter. Do like a solid hundo minutes, maybe. I don't know. But I don't hate anything we're seeing. And I love this genre. This is so cool. This is like one of my favorite types of genre, a movie, which is seeing these people who are so dedicated to this specific craft that they've essentially mastered it, and nobody who is watching the film truly understands what these people know and what they are capable of. That's one of the coolest things to see. That is what a good film can do. It can make you see these events and these characters doing something you yourself could never do, and you are instantly falling in love with what you are seeing. No part of me has any desire to chase a tornado, but I see these people doing it, these cool as fuck people who all look awesome and sexy, and they're just in like these really cool clothing. I dress exactly like Philip Seymour Hoffman does in this movie, and we're in these insanely contrived vehicles. We have newspapers and maps all over the place, computers inside of an RV. Everything looks like a mess, but you see these people, and they're the most competent people you've ever seen in a movie ever, because they know what they're doing. And then you're just like, from the beginning, we're right in. We open this up with Joe Harding as a child because her father gets sucked into a tornado and they're trying to get into a bomb. What do they call those? I don't live in tornado country. I was about to say bomb shelter. I know that's not what it is. It's just like a bunker, I guess, where they get into. But their father gets taken by a tornado, and thus starts her fascination with why she was chosen to lose her father by a tornado. And that's really cool. Like, that is a really cool character motive for why this person would become obsessed with a tornado. And from there, what happens is we follow two of the characters. We follow Billy, who is played by Bill Paxton, who looks like a freaking snack in this movie. This guy looks so cute. He just shows up. He's got a nice jacket on, and he's like, these are my people. I'm dressing a little nicer than them, but I love this. I love everything. Immediately falls back in love with the world. He actually comes to these events because he wants his wife, played by Helen Hunt, to sign their divorce papers so he can marry his new girlfriend, Melissa. And here's the thing, right? We're driving down. We're with Bill Paxton, and he's looking cute. He's with Jamie Gertz, and she's looking like a snack herself. Just a really cool, like, well-kept together person who's never been in this situation. But then when we get to like the RV park where everyone's just setting up their equipment, and we see Helen Hunt just working on a device. She's got like a jacket tied around her waist. She's in like a tank. God, you've never seen anybody sexier. She is so gorgeous in this movie. And she's just so commanding and smart and tough. And I was obsessed with her. And I love every single person we see in this movie. I already mentioned Philip Seymour Hoffman. He's in here too, playing like a really crazy guy. Great energy. Alan Ruck shows up for a bit. He's one of the other guys who like tracks all the roads. And they're storm chasers. That's what they do. They've built this device. They call it the Dorothy. Essentially, it's like this weird capsule that if it gets sucked into a tornado, it can suck up these weird like balls that they have like microchips or something in to scan the data of a tornado. Basically, they're going to do something that's never been done before in terms of tornado, and they're going to track the data as a tornado is happening inside a tornado. And I'm just like, have we never done that before? I don't know enough about tornadoes to say that, but that's a really cool thing to see happen. And Bill, who is no longer a part of this group, he actually built the design for the device they're using. They call it Dorothy because it's like Tornado Country, Kansas, Oz. You get all of that references. There's also like a rival gang who is somebody that they used to work with, played by Carrie Elways, and his name's Jonas. He's got like grant money from like researchers and all this stuff. And he's got like better technology. So he's like the evil storm chasers going against these people. And you're just like, this is such a specific thing we're doing. And then the whole movie, we're just in cars and trucks with a bunch of insanely hot people. And we're just following a tornado. And that's really cool, okay? Everyone looks amazing. Every single like landscape looks amazing. We're driving on dirt roads and in puddles and shit. And it looks really cool. And it's just the rampant escalation of we need to sign these divorce papers. Suddenly, Melissa realizes that maybe Bill's still in love with his ex-wife or going to be ex-wife. So he gets so sucked into like the chase of the tornado again that he doesn't even want to become a weatherman, which he signed up to become a weatherman. And you're like, that's amazing. Like right there, the tension right there works so well. Does this movie need the Melissa character? It doesn't. There is definitely a reason why she is here, and that is because we kind of just need to ramp up the tension. Is Bill going to stay with Helen Hunt and go back to his ex-wife, or is he going to go with Jamie back to the city and do whatever? It's the part of the story where there is a lot of conflict that's very unnecessary because clearly Billy has lied to her about like every aspect of his life when they're having like actual moment to like sit down and talk about like things he's done in tornadoes where he's like drunk and throwing bottles at it. Like she clearly doesn't know this guy as well as she thought she did. But that's okay because it never feels like you want to leave this world anyways. That's really fun. And then it's just an escalation of tornado stuff. So the first tornado we chase, it flips a truck. They kind of get trapped under a bridge for a minute. That, of course, is Joe and Billy. And then the next one, it throws like boats and stuff and destroys barns and cows are being tossed around. Everyone's kind of freaking out by that. And then just ramps up to like destroying literal towns and stuff until we get to the final tornado, which chases them around a barnyard. And I'm like, that's really crazy. That's really crazy. And the tornadoes, they look fine. The more egregious visual effects do come from like the explosions, which don't look great, but you know, I can survive. I can handle the tornado stuff because that's what we're doing. You know, you don't get mad when like an Outrider looks bad in Infinity War, so I'm not going to get mad when the tornado in the Twister movie doesn't look perfect. It's just impressive stuff. And I love the energy of just these outsiders just taking their vehicles, running towards a tornado, trying to throw stuff into it. It never actually fully takes until the final time, which is great tension. That's how you build up a story. There's something so interesting about doing this narrative where it's like this is not the type of villain or like natural cause threat we normally see. Like we've seen tsunami movies and we've seen earthquake movies and stuff like that. Volcano stuff too. But a tornado, it's a very, I don't even want to say like a very American thing, but there's like tornado counties inside of America. So it just has like this, you know, the flyover states energy where everything's like these big open fields. Everyone's got like a life just set in this house. It all gets destroyed. It's all interesting. I will say, when we are using sets, when we're like actually in sets like a decrepit house or things are breaking down in like the streets where it's like, oh, we're on a street where we just have a bunch of things that are broken, it doesn't look as strong as when we're just driving a truck through a field. But it doesn't look bad. It is filmed at night in those sequences where we have to save Joe's aunt who's like trapped in a house and we have to like get her out before it breaks. It's very set heavy. And I mean, what else would you do that for? I get it. There's also some really strong jokes in this movie, which I love to see. I love the bit where they're like, Joe and Billy are like running through a field. They're like, we can get into this barn to protect us. Nothing bad could happen in there. They walk inside this barn and it's full of like blades and sharp objects that can attack them when the tornado's coming after them. That's really funny. I really like that. And this movie hinges on the chemistry of Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton. And you can really tell that both of them put everything they had into this. There is just so much perfect energy and chemistry coming from those two people. How do we survive this? How do we go into this? What is our mindset like? Is it about the thrill of the hunt and the thrill of the chase, or is it getting the data? Because they say Jonas Carey Elways, he's in it for like the money and not the science. And that leads to him getting sucked into a tornado and then blowing up, that was an insane thing to see. When you're not like expecting that to happen and you see him get sucked into the tornado and then the truck blows up, that's crazy. That's an insane thing to see, but it was just a visually stunning thing. About halfway through the movie, Melissa, having survived a big tornado where a guy gets scratched in the head with like I guess like the rim of a tire or something. I don't remember what it was when they were like at like a motel. She's like, I can't do this. You clearly love your ex-wife. You clearly love tornadoes too much. I can't stay here. I'm going back to where I'm from. If you don't come with me, I understand that. That's fine. I don't care. So that tension gets resolved halfway through, and then we could do some of the more bigger tornado stuff, which is okay. And it just leads to them kissing at the end. Joe and Billy kiss at the end because he's coming back to do the research, because why would he ever want to leave the life of a storm chaser? I can't disagree. Nothing looks more appealing in any movie than when you see these ragtag people just show up in their decrepit vehicles, chasing this storm, getting the data. It looks amazing. It looks beautiful. Everyone is so freaking hot. My God, I love them. I love them. And I love how Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt at two separate points both pitched doing a sequel to this. Because of course you would. There is so much what you could do here. The further along you get from the release of this film, the more technology advances and you could do other stuff with tornado chasing. So wanting that to do that's pretty incredible. It's just a shame that Bill Paxton passed away so early and that Helen Hunt is probably not going to be in the sequel movie. That being said, this just feels like a time capsule of a movie we'd never make again today, where so much of the movie is just the tension of driving, the tension of putting a thing inside of a thing, the tension of such like a clearly fake love triangle. Like, it just screams, this is the 90s. Look at these people. Look at how they talk and dress and the actions they take. This is the type of film that we rarely make again. So actually seeing a sequel come out this year is really impressive and cool, and it makes me smile, and it gets me excited to see what's going to happen in the future of entertainment. Because Twisters, I will admit, not a perfect film, goes on for a little too long sometimes. The tension can fade out between the characters. It is really incredible to see like these people dedicate to this craft, this specific craft. It's definitely like a community of people that love and support each other for like the science and the thrill of the chase. And Paxton and Hunt, they're both sexy as hell in this movie, and they have delicious chemistry. You just want to slide right in there, be the meat inside that sandwich, you know? Oh, amazing. Incredible. I love this. Tornado stuff is cool. I'm a big Sharknado enthusiast, so seeing this as the prequel to that, I kid, of course, it's exciting. Twister, surprisingly fun time. I think everyone should check it out again. So that's going to do it for this episode of Dramatic Tales. Now be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check it on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And of course, I will catch you in the next one. So have fun, stay safe, good luck.